Never again. Never again, never again, never again. And that's what the people of Israel had made abundantly clear. I want to thank you folks. Really bring tears to my eyes. Jews make up this percentage of the world. What would we do without our Christian brothers and sisters? Thank you so much, and God bless each and every one of you. The Holy Land belongs to you too, you know. And that's what we're fighting for, isn't it? These are biblical times. First, I want to say to Pastor John Hagee, look what you've created. This is a fantastic human being, fantastic family. God bless each and every one of them for what they've done here. God bless each and every one of you for coming here. I said to Pastor Hagee in the back, I didn't know there'd be all these pastors here. You expect me to speak now? The Jews should go first, not last. Christians United for Israel. What a beautiful name. What a beautiful organization. 11 million of you. Let me just say this first. Moshe and Hirsch. No parent should go through what you folks have gone through. You've suffered through this war. This is the ugly side of war. You saw it right here. You stared it in the face. The fantastic ambassador. The Hirsch parents have been all over the world. All over the world, first for their son and now for these other people. This is what war looks like. All those young people slaughtered, brutalized. What was going through their minds? As they were being butchered and raped, and they knew if the enemy caught up with them, what their fate would be. Those people in those caves, the barbarians, the primitives, many of them have probably lost hope. This is mankind's fight. This is good versus evil. This is civilization, as the ambassador said, versus the barbarians. We're fighting the 7th century. And we just beat the crap out of them. It's better that more of them die than us. I know that sounds terrible. I'm not talking about their civilians. They do a good enough job of slaughtering their own people. I'm talking about the enemy. Our soldiers go to war. They wear uniforms. They wear patches. They wear guns on their hips. They carry guns on their shoulders. They're terrorist barbarians. They go into the communities, they blow up buses, they shoot, kill children, they rape women. This is a righteous war we're fighting. And let me say this is God's war that we're fighting right now. And if Europe is too stupid to understand, that's their problem. I will remind you, that's where Hitler was born. That's where Marx was born, but it's also where Churchill was born and Thatcher was born. And so the good guys will win out because we have no choice. I'm going to say something about President Trump. This is a historic figure. This is an iconic human being. He was also almost assassinated, and I do believe God saved him for a reason. He talks like George Patton, but he leads like the greatest of leaders. He will be remembered 1,000 years in Israel, and he'll be remembered for 1,000 years in the United States. Let me say something about the United States military. Don't piss them off. And they seem a little pissed off right about now. Say a little prayer for me when we're done. It's my man over there. They say something about the Prime Minister of Israel. He will be remembered for 1,000 years too. While about 40% of his country tries to put him in prison, well, he's just won some of the most unbelievable battles in world history. World history. He said Lilliputians stab him in the back. He said people undermine him. He said people go to the enemy, like the press. He's a remarkable human being. This is why he's so tight with Donald Trump. This is why they're good friends. They understand what they're going through together. Two men of God, two men of democracy. And let me say something about the Israeli military, the IDF, the Mossad, and the rest. Boy, I wouldn't want to be on the wrong side of you guys. This is a tiny country, tiny. It's a mid-sized state population-wise. It's a small state, the state of New Jersey. But they breed warriors. Whether they're plumbers or electricians, whether they're waitresses and waiters, whether they're doctors and lawyers, whatever they are, they breed warriors, all of whom have a history, all of whom had family, one way or another, touched the Holocaust and before. And they're not going to allow it to happen again. As their great leader Netanyahu has said, we were going to take out those nuclear sites if we had to use our bare hands. And the world has seen it. And a great part of the world doesn't like it. The world that hates Israel hates America. The world that hates America hates Israel. It's that simple. Because we have the same values, the Judeo-Christian values. You've read our Declaration of Independence. Multiple references to God, Creator, Providence. Where did these men get these ideas? Who were these men that founded America? What motivated them? When we go home tonight or tomorrow, I want you to read the Declaration again. Because those men believed that God was sovereign. And they believed that God passed his sovereignty on to his children. That in our government, the people are sovereign because God is sovereign. That's what they said, that's what they meant. They also cited the great men of the Enlightenment, Locke and Montesquieu and so forth. Representative government, divided government, shared power. Judaism and Christianity about God-given rights and the fusion of the Enlightenment. That is, the earthly means by which we govern ourselves to ensure that what he gave each human being prevails. Islamism is the opposite. Islamism is the fusion with coercion, not with the Enlightenment. I'm not talking about Reform Muslims like my dear friend Zuhdi Jasser. I'm talking about the enemy, the Islamists. Read what their so-called scholars say. Go back and read it. Anybody who doesn't embrace their view is to be eliminated, not negotiated with, not to have a ceasefire with, to be eliminated. The entire Western civilization. Israel happens to be right there in the middle. The Holy Land happens to be right there in the middle, where God put it, right there. They're surrounded. How many Jews are left in these Arab countries? How many Christians are left in these Arab countries? And yet there are Christians, there are Muslims, there are people of all backgrounds and faith in little Israel. It's the Israelis who defend the Christian church. It's the Israelis who defend the Druze. It's the Israelis who defend the Bedouins. It's the Israelis who defend, you name it, against the Islamists. Pastor Hagee's 100% right. Regime change. I don't know why these have become curse words. They need to be crushed. Call it whatever the hell you want. They need to be destroyed. They need to be eliminated because they seek to eliminate and destroy us. And by the way, listening to these pastors tonight, honey, we got to start going to church a little bit, I think. Pastor Hagee is my pastor, just so you know. We're the realists. We see the world for what it is. I don't know how many more lessons we need, how many more people need to be slaughtered until this is figured out. We're not involved in a democracy project. We're involved in a demolition project. And that is the people who seek to destroy us, we destroy them first. Now, I don't know why the Islamists, Marxists, and the hideous isolationists in our country seem to think nuclear weapons are the hands of a 7th century primitive regime. They keep saying they want to wipe us off the face of the earth and the Israelis off the face of the earth. I don't know why they call us warmongers. That's pretty damn sick. I'd call us peacemongers. That's what we are. But whatever we are, we know right from wrong. And we know people who will slaughter us, slaughter our fellow human beings, should never be anywhere near a nuclear weapon, period. This war is not over. It's not even close to over. I dare say this with a room full of pastors and true believers. That forever battle, that forever war is in your Bible. The battle between good and evil doesn't end, not until God decides it ends. And so the idea that we don't believe in war, which we don't, the other side does. So if you're an isolationist or a pacifist or an appeaser or whatever you are, first and foremost, you believe in suicide and you want to drag the rest of us with you, and we have no intention of going with you. That's a fact. And let me say this to the Iranian people. While there are some voices in this country who don't care about you, who say you're none of our business, you're our business. You're very much our business. Rise up. Rise up. Now's your opportunity. The Israelis made it a possibility. The Americans made it a possibility. Rise up and overthrow these people. How much you want to bet if they had an election in Iran, Benjamin Netanyahu would be elected president of Iran? or Donald Trump would be elected president of Iran. That's why they don't hold elections. You know, you folks should be very proud of this organization, and I know you are. You have an enormous impact. You have an enormous impact beyond this room and even beyond Congress. People like me point to you all the time, and thank God for you. And you show other people what's possible, that they shouldn't be afraid to speak out. In fact, they should be inspired to speak out. Honestly, you got one life to live. If you don't speak out now, when are you going to speak out? You see what's happening in this country, in New York? There is a growing Islamist Marxist movement in this country. Part of it's due to culture rot. Part of it's due to the billions that's flowing in here from countries overseas, the corruption of our educational system, online platforms like TikTok and so forth. There's a lot of reasons here. But the bottom line is this. If we don't call a spade, if we don't speak out, then nobody else will. You see these Democrat politicians in New York falling all over themselves trying to figure out what to do? You see these Jewish politicians falling over themselves trying to figure out what to do? It's disgusting. Party is so important. Politics is so important. Your damn re-election is so important. You can't stand on principle. This wouldn't be the first time, would it, Pastor? People in the face of evil, whether they're isolationists, whether they're Islamists, whether they're Marxists, whatever they are, they're scared. They don't want to be counted. It's easy to say never again when you're watching black and white films of what happened in the Holocaust 30 years ago. That must never happen again. That must never happen again. But it was happening since October 7th. People say 1930s. I mean, these isolationists, didn't they see what's coming? It's 2025. I told you I need a prayer. The same bastards from the 1930s are here again. And they're preaching the same thing. And some of them have millions of followers. It's my job to deal with this in part. It's all of our job to deal with this in part. Just so you know, I'm not letting go, not now, not ever. We are the silent majority. We have to encourage those who are silent to speak out. There are tens of millions of us who've had enough. We've had enough of the Islamists and the Marxists and the isolationists and whatever the hell they want to call themselves. Enough is enough. We're sick of what they're doing in our streets. We're sick of what they're doing to our colleges and universities. We don't want to watch Jewish kids run into a room and lock themselves in a room. We're sick and tired of the whole thing. And by the way, they're attacking evangelical Christians now too. The same isolationists, same people. They want to rewrite Christianity, Pastor. They want to rewrite the whole thing. Don't let them rewrite it. Confront them. Speak out against them. At the kitchen table, at the dinner table, in the neighborhood, in your church, in your synagogue. Speak out against them. This is a cancer. This is a cancer. It's all through Europe. It's in France right now. It's in Britain right now. It's in Amsterdam right now. It's spreading throughout the West. And it's in the United States of America right now. And this is our time. There is no other time. We have a president who's leading on the fight against anti-Semitism. He's got the whole federal government focused on it. We have federal judges who are undermining us. We have local and state politicians who are undermining us. We have a media that's undermining us. No, never again. We are going to be heard, and we are going to fight this. You do not have the due process to chase Jewish kids back into their dorm rooms, period. You do not have free speech to try and incite Kristallnachts all over this country, period. That Constitution, those Bill of Rights, I know who those framers were and those founders were, and they wouldn't put up with this for a damn second. Let's ask Thomas Jefferson about the Barbary pirates who enslaved 1 million Europeans. What did he do? Did he say, let's negotiate? Did he say ceasefire? He sent the American Navy there and defeated them and freed whatever slaves from Europe existed, including slaves from the United States of America. Let me tell you a little secret. The Israelis are warriors. It's in the blood of the American people, whether the pacifists, the appeasers like it or not. The American people are the biggest warriors on the face of the earth. You look at the Revolutionary War, when we went up against the most sorry, Colonel. Colonel's a good friend of mine. First of all, Colonel Richard Kemp was the commander of British forces in Afghanistan. Can we have a hand for him? Pastor and family, look at all the people you bring together. It's a wonderful thing. And we won. You may have heard about that. But you know what's funny? We couldn't have won without the French. Now we can't win with the French. But back then, you get the point. Ronald Reagan said in 1985, July 7th, 1985, almost 40 years to the day, we're not Fortress America, and we're not going to be Fortress America. America sails the open seas. America does what America needs to do, and we're not going to be forced into a bottle. Look at the Civil War. You know who was an expert on the Civil War? Churchill. He studied the Civil War. It took a long time for Americans to get into that. He looked at that Civil War when World War II had opened, and Britain was really alone in many respects. And he was trying to figure out how to persuade FDR. FDR tried. We had the same isolationists we have right now. Hitler's taking Europe, and he's attacking Britain. And they keep talking about how far we are in the ocean. Well, the Japanese took care of that. They said, well, we're in the ocean too, and they hit Hawaii. Some people don't learn, but we have learned. And people were wondering, can the Americans fight? And Churchill was half American. He said, read about their Civil War. Oh, they fight. They fight to the bitter end. You look at that Civil War. You ever gone to these battlefields? I want you to go to the battlefields. Go to one or two. You look over those battlefields with the South faced off against the North. You look at Gettysburg, where there were 50,000 casualties in 3 days. 50,000 casualties. You look at Vicksburg, where they surrounded the town of Vicksburg in Mississippi, starved it. Grant said, I got to get this damn war over with. It's just, people were eating their horses. They finally surrendered. Look at the Battle of the Wilderness. A fire started. They could hear the soldiers burning in the fire, burning alive. These battles are all over the place. Look at the Battle of Bull Run. There were two, the same exact place. Tens of thousands of men lost their lives twice in the same place, outside of Washington, D.C. Chancellorsville, I could name them all, I've memorized them. Over 700,000 casualties in a nation of 24 million people. Churchill said, oh, they can fight. Once they get angry enough, they can fight. My grandfather fought on Iwo Jima. He's a tough man. He's big for his time. He was about 6'3", been a boxer. We were attacked at Pearl Harbor. He was 34. That was the limit. He signed up for the Marines. My father was 17. He signed up for the Army. But he and his brother-in-law, Tug, who was Christian, by the way, he signed up too for the Marines. My grandfather fought at Iwo Jima and Guam, and his brother-in-law, Tug, was a very big, tough man. He fought at Guadalcanal. When my grandfather came back, he shook for the rest of his life. And he talked like this, because he lost his voice. He never really talked about it, except once. Colonel, I don't know if it's a unit or whatever they call, there were 105 of them in his group. They're running out of ammo. He ran back with 3 other guys. They sent him back to get ammo. It was hand-to-hand combat. They were trying to dig into the volcanic ash. It was horrendous. The Japanese had been expecting them. Our ships had fired and fired and fired, and most of them fired over the island. And when he came back, 90% of them were dead. 90% of them. At night, they would hear them torturing the Marines. They were screaming. And that's when they decided they weren't going to take any POWs. That's the way war was fought back then. Americans are warriors too. Donald Trump knows Americans are warriors too. We don't look for war. We never do. But if it finds us, we don't cower. Well, you know what? We have an enemy within. It's more complicated than a military battlefield. I'm going on, I'm almost done. It's more complicated than a military battlefield. They've seeped into our culture. They've seeped into our schools. They've seeped into our media. They've seeped into the Democrat Party. They're seeping into a piece of the Republican Party. They've seeped into our courts. It's much more daunting to figure out how to deal with this. But it all starts by recognizing it and confronting it wherever you see it and speaking out. And I think we should be very thankful that we have a President of the United States. Let me just say one other thing. Donald Trump was a man of deep faith. He doesn't show it all the time. But I could tell you he is. You saw what he said at the end of the bombing about loving God. He's always been a man of deep faith. And I think that assassination attempt, like any other human being, makes you wonder at night. Why me? Turn your head like that, bullet goes here rather than here. He knows why. We all know why. I think we are tremendously lucky, and thanks to you, the voters and so forth, to have him as president. I think the Israelis, whether some of them know it or not, are tremendously lucky to have Netanyahu. I mean, look at this, Lapid and the rest of this stuff. It's so crucially important. And I want to say, as Jews, we are so honored and thankful for the pastor, all the other pastors, bishops. We are so lucky to have you Christians. And I want to thank you. And I want you to know how much we love you. God bless you.